Sad news for Knights of the Old Republic 2 fans who owned or plan to get the Switch version of the game. The developer studio Aspyr announced that the restored content DLC will not be released for the Switch platform. If you haven't heard about this promised update, let me shortly explain what it's all about. Knights of the Old Republic 2 had a really rushed development process, which led to the game being released essentially unfinished, with tons of bugs and a lot of cut content. As it was discovered later, the game files contained unused content that had been intended to be part of the game during the development phase. So, for the past 18 years, a group of fans were working on the Sith Lord restored content modification, which, as the name would imply, adds the missing content back into the game. In 2015, Aspyr released an updated version for Windows, Mac and Linux on Steam, adding achievements, high-resolution support, controller support, but more importantly, this version was working with Steam Workshop, so the restored content modification could have been installed within Steam without any problems. Aspyr even stated in update notes that they proudly worked with the Restore Content mod team to have their mod up on launch day. And just to be clear, if you want to play Knights of the Old Republic 2, this is the best way to play it. There is no reason to play the vanilla version with its bugs, unfinished state, other than curiosity maybe. And I think Aspyr understood it and made sure their updated version would work with the mod on release. Now, jumping forward to June 2022, Aspyr released Knights of the Old Republic 2 for Switch, and though it didn't contain RCM, they have announced that the restored content DLC will be released for free in third quarter 2022. It was a really strong selling point, because as I said before, you shouldn't really play the game in the original state, even the updated version, without RCM. As the time passed, there was no information about DLC and absolute silence from Aspyr until said announcement. They have also stated that everyone who purchased the Switch version was eligible to receive a free copy of one of the Star Wars games they have ported over the years. While it's nice and all, many players who got the game with DLC in mind would expect a refund, as they were sold not the product they were expecting. Unfortunately, Aspyr haven't provided any clarification on why this DLC was cancelled, so all we can do for the time being is to speculate. One of the most obvious reasons might be legal issues. After all, it's Nintendo we're talking about, plus previously RCM was not an official part of the game ever, just a side modification, so there might be problems with that as well. Another thing that should be taken into consideration is that until last year Aspyr was responsible for development of Knights of the Old Republic remake, but the game was eventually taken away from them, reportedly because the bosses didn't like what they were seeing in early demo. Overall, it seems like something goes really wrong within Aspyr, and I won't be surprised if we won't see any games developed by them in the near future. Personally, I find this whole situation outrageous, not just because the DLC was cancelled, but because it was announced even before release that it will be available at no additional cost, meaning its price was already included and people were buying the part of the game expecting that they will get more over time. My only hope is that Aspyr will eventually explain the reason behind the cancellation, as I don't really believe they will start providing refunds. Anyway, that's all from me for now. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.